Hello, it's a new day and abundance is here. And my name is Bisola Miriam, and this is Clarity in Seconds. And on today's episode, today is 33 of my 60-day series. And today, from day from day 30, I started going live. And from day 1 to day 30, I uploaded pre recorded videos on my YouTube channel where you can basically get insight about on how on the very first part of my storytelling series. And for this part, I basically will be focusing on my second book. So the very first series was focused on my personal story and me sharing using excerpt from from my very story to explain a couple of things of, okay, as far as childhood trauma is concerned. And so in this series, from starting from the 30th day 31, I started talking about broken child, broken adult, which is my second book. And so basically the idea is a lot of us have baggages that we're carrying, and these baggages are usually as a result of our childhood, the parenting that we had as children. And so in this second part of the series, I began by talking about, you know, the making of a narcissist and the making of a codependent. And in the past video, I have talked about who the story or the mythical story behind Narcissus and narcissism or Narcissus and the mythical characters called Narcissus and Eco. And I've already talked about the way these personality types are. And today I'm going to talk to you about the double danger caregiver, okay? The double danger caregiver. So, what exactly is the double danger caregiver? The idea is, what is a double danger? Let's start from there, okay? So, what is a double danger? A double danger is someone with two personality types. Okay, a double danger is somebody with two personality types. So you can refer to someone as a double danger when, for instance, the person is has two-sided or is two-sided or can change personality or can change shape, like a shapeshifter. That's another way. So when you think about double danger, think of a shapeshifter. Now, is it possible for someone who is a narcissist to be codependent at the same time? Meaning, is it possible that someone who is mostly toxic to be caring? Absolutely, it is possible for a toxic person to be caring. Now, you need to also understand that the fact that someone is toxic does not mean that the person will be toxic every day. The fact that someone is mean does not mean that the person will wake up every day from the wrong side of the bed. Okay, so it is very crucial that you understand that there is always the chance that someone who is mean and toxic can also be kind and empathetic sometimes. And so like what should be your trigger, or what should help you stay what would help you, not get caught up in this kind of, you know confusion. I say confusion because a lot of times it is possible for us to confuse the occasional kindness of a toxic person with a change in behavior. Let me take that one more time. It is possible for you to confuse the occasional kindness coming from a toxic person with a change in behavior, meaning that someone who is toxic can, yes, be kind, but you might end up making a mistake of thinking or totalizing and concluding that the person who is toxic has changed because of a sudden display of kindness or good behavior. And so do not make that mistake, right? And so the idea, again, another thing I need to stress is, when you think about the fact that So now I talked about two personality types, right? And I already talked about the caregiver narcissist, the caregiver codependent. The caregiver narcissist is mostly unaccommodating, unkind, judgmental, toxic almost all the time. Almost all the time. Emphasis on almost all the time. But there might be times that this toxic parent or caregiver becomes nice. And so do not think that because that caregiver is nice, then that caregiver has changed. Now think about it this way. Certain situations might call or might warrant might actually make this toxic caregiver become nice. Maybe there is a sudden good development or something good happened, or you who is the recipient of care or from that caregiver, maybe you have done something really extraordinary that is indeed commendable and that makes that caregiver feel good. Maybe you have done something that is soothing, that suits or yeah, suits the ego of that caregiver. The caregiver may become overly kind or nice. Now, but that behavior is momentary. It is temporary. It is only associated with your ability to to behave a certain way or to do a certain thing. Think about the fact that for a toxic person or a narcissistic caregiver, the relationship is mainly transactional, which is you only get the good side of them when you do something exceptional. In fact, you don't even need to do something exceptional for a codependent caregiver to be loving, kind, and accommodating because that is the personality type, which of course may or usually is as a result of parenting from the parent, the first caregiver of that caregiver in your own life. So I don't want you to get confused and think that maybe I have a caregiver, say a mother, a father, an uncle, or someone who I'm, in an intimate relationship with who is occasionally nice or who most of the time is very annoying. But when you do something very good to that person, the person suddenly, becomes a nice person. Do not assume and think that that behavior, which is associated with a condition, is a permanent behavior and is a basis for you to think that that caregiver has changed from being narcissistic. Also, do not also assume that because a codependent caregiver who is consistent in behavior and mostly nice and kind, and then who probably is having a bad day or had a bad day or has recently been traumatized and is displaying signs of unaccommodating behavior, anger, or something that is unacceptable to you, or some behavior that shows that this person is being mean, okay, or toxic at that point, do as long as you can tell that this person is consistently kind, consistently nice, then do not assume that this person is now a toxic or a terrible person. So think about the fact that the double danger caregiver is a situation where you kind of think or we feel that a caregiver who is toxic can also be kind. Yes, it is possible that they can be occasionally kind, but that does not mean that they have become a changed person. Consistency is what you should look out for in determining whether a caregiver is nice or not nice, whether a friend is kind or not kind, whether a partner is loving or not loving, whether a boss is kind or unkind. And so think about everything that I've shared with you today. If you have some thoughts, leave a comment below. And more importantly, I want you to also do this activity. I've been sharing excerpt from my self-care journal, and you can check my timeline to see that. One of the things that I shared on my timeline is the fact that, you know, um, the the idea that you need to ask yourself, what is the consistent behavior that comes from your caregiver? Whether your caregiver is whether you're thinking that that caregiver or the person who you're intimate with is narcissistic or codependent, the question would be, what is the consistent behavior from that person? Is the behavior that comes from that person, does the behavior that comes from that person shows that this person is consistently kind, or does it show that this person is unkind, irrespective of what a momentary or a temporary situation has to do with the person's behavior towards you? You need to think about it. It is very important that you think about that, because the failure to understand how these personality types work might make you assume that an unkind person is kind, or make you think that a kind person is unkind. So understand these two, the tendency for one personality to shift and become something else, or just think about it when you are trying to do this activity. And in conclusion, I want to share with you about my book. If you go to, just simply visit my website. Right now, I mean, May 31st, I'm launching this book, May 31st of 2022. If you're watching this in 2022, and maybe you're watching this years after 2022, you can simply go to my website, bisolamiriam.com, and find out how you can get the book and donate, so that we can make these books available to strategic communities within Africa. Even more, I am launching this book the May 31st of 2022, which is few days to come, few days from today. And to register, please simply visit my website, bisolamiriam.com/becoming BM. I look forward to see you at my book launch, and I cannot wait for you to come and celebrate with me. It's going to be a very emotional book launch, but definitely there'll be a lot of reasons to thank God for, and I want you to be a part of my story. I look forward to seeing you there. Abundance is here. There is no lack. God bless you, and talk soon. Bye.